Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Never a Foul. It's a big day today. This is the extra time debate. I got the guys in the background. Big day in the Premier League, of course. Arsenal, did they crumble under the pressure after losing to City last week? Liverpool, it keeps going down. They are free falling. Chelsea as well yesterday. It didn't look good for them with the 600 million investment that they've done this year. And tomorrow, can City capitalize? Can Spurs catch up to Newcastle, who drew later at home at St. James Park to West Ham? And also Man United with 10 men after Casemiro being an idiot, just trying to choke somebody on the pitch, getting a yellow card and acting so innocent while he actually knew exactly what he did. But make sure to hit that like button for me, please. If you just joined us, you know that goes a long way, this like button. So I need you to like this video. I need the likes to go up really high. Now we need to go to 50 likes right away. But you know what it is? First thing first, we're just going to have to do the intro then. You know what? Forget that. Let me just get the guys in so we just can start talking shit about Arsenal, talk shit about Liverpool, Chelsea, maybe as well talk shit about Spurs. We're going to get slapped tomorrow. So, guys, you're in the show, and all I have to say is that it's not looking good for most of you, to be honest. It's not looking good. I'm going to start with Souls right away. Listen, bro. Today, I think the team crumbled. Taking Odegaard when you need to get an equalizer is not looking good.
You're mute, bro.
You're
I think you're muted.
Let me first praise Burnley. Yeah, Dyche ball is back, baby. I'm loving it. Yeah, I can't wait to see more of Sean Dyche and the real men. You know that saying, innit? Build them to be characters. And that's what they've shown today, man. Like, at the end of the day, look, we needed to win. We needed to make a statement after losing to City. We needed to bounce back. The mentality had to show through today. And that's exactly the opposite of what we showed. And I don't know whether there's a weird thing Arsenal fans do where they try and find positives out of everything. I don't really know what positive you can find out of today other than the fact we're still top of the league. And obviously, City and Spurs are playing tomorrow, so we'll see what happens there. But the twerking for Spurs to do us a favour, like how much shame do you have to have? How much lack of shame do you have to ask Spurs to do us a favour? Now, I don't care what happens in that game. Whether City win, bring it on. You know, the pressure needs to be on us. We've gotten a bit too comfortable for our likings. And you know what? These players need a wake-up call. And that's exactly what they got today. You know, Sean, Stone Cold Steve Austin showed them. Again, he showed Arteta why he's the man. Because Arteta does struggle to Sean Dyche. And I'm not going to be one of these fans that's going to sit here and look for the positives. We're still top of the league and not criticize these players because today was a spineless performance. Now, a lot of people are going to say, why are you so negative when we're top of the league? If you don't put the pressure on them, guess what's going to happen? They will crumble because we're too happy right now. We're too in la la land. We're thinking we've won the league. The parade's already on. You know, we're booking our holidays. We just need to chill out a little now. Now we've got our wake-up call. I know Everton, you know, City drew to Everton 1-1 against a Lampard Everton. But at the same time, that doesn't give us any rights to go there and do what we did. And it's about building on what we have. And we didn't do that. And we deserve all the stick we're going to get. And one thing I do want to say, I don't understand the scapegoating of Jorginho today. I don't get why the Arsenal fans wanted to scapegoat him when it wasn't his fault we lost. Partey, let's put it simply, was shit today. Was shambolic today. The one player who we rely on to keep control of the ball misplaced many, many passes. Granit Xhaka, not up for the races. Odegaard was disgraceful today. I don't know one thing he did right today. And look, this is a one-off. It's a bad day at the office. I'm not going to try and not overreact, but I am pissed. I can't lie. because we had to go there and we had to show them, fuck your new manager bounce. We're the Arsenal. We're top of the league for a reason. And guess what we did? We did the opposite. Onana, Doucouré, and Idrissa Gana Gueye showed us how a midfield should be ran. You know, and you know what it is, right? And Arteta deserves a bit of stick today as well. There's I get it. You want to trust your starting 11. You want to give them a lot of faith, but you got to play the game. And today you set up the team wrong for a team that's going to be defensively completely solid. They're going to be very well drilled and organized, and you've got players who are way too predictable. Martinelli on the wing, for me, doesn't work unless Gabriel Jesus is there. He's a striker. He's not a winger. The thing is, if people think he's a good winger, my God, watch when he comes to the middle. You're going to be like, who the fuck is this guy? He's going to be on another planet. There's nuances in football that you get taught at a very young age. Wingers need to be able to scan their space. They need to be able to be aware of what options they have. Martinelli is a head-down runner. He is not a winger. That's not how wingers play. Wingers don't look at the ball consistently when they dribble. They might look down and just know where the ball is, but they look up the majority of the time they play. Martinelli does the complete opposite. So for me, there's going to be a lot of stick today, and I'm going to put the pressure on them the same way I did with Edu and Richard Garlick for absolutely flopping this window and not getting your plan A's through the door, consistently failing at that. So you know what? It's a bit negative at the moment, but hopefully they can bounce back against Brentford. What a time for them to score 3 goals. Brilliant. As soon as you play, as you pick up form, it's just the way it is.
Listen, man, I thought the test was last week. I thought that the wake-up call was last week when you lost to City. But anyway, guys, I thought the test was last week. Now they're going to keep saying that every week now. Every week they're going to say, this is the wake-up call. Danny, welcome to the channel, my friend. How did you feel being a Spurs fan about Arsenal? I know you're in a different world tomorrow. Are you doing them a favor tomorrow as well?
Big up, big up. Great to be on the Never Fall for the first time. Well, actually, I've been on it for a fan show, but yeah, was watching the game. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal to see Sean Dyche stick it to Arsenal. Absolutely love to see it. I think Sean Dyche could do some good stuff with Arsenal. With Everton. I think he can keep them up, and I don't think he will. And by the way, Everton fans, big up to yourselves for sticking up to what you believe in and continuing to protest against the board. Big up to yourself. If only clubs like us that don't like our board could do that. If only. But when it comes to Everton and Sean Dyche, I think Everton could do stuff with Sean Dyche. He looks like a really, really good manager. And if he gets the players that he wants, I think they'll definitely stay in the Premier League this season, in my opinion. And I like Sean Dyche. And I like those type of managers that, I don't know, I have something for managers that play defensive football. It's not because Conte's at Tottenham, but it's because a lot of people have a certain narrative that football managers have to be attacking. Football managers have to be on the front foot. And in my opinion, that is not the case. Football, there's no wrong way to play football. I think you could play football as long as you win. That's your strategy.
Statement.
You go for it.
Big
But
statement.
I like
Jerry,
Sean Dyche, and I think he's gonna do big stuff at Everton.
Yo, what's
Jerry,
up?
Yeah, listen, man. You have been there before, chased by City, and that's the pressure and all the stuff. How did these guys get out of there? How are these guys gonna? Are they gonna crumble though? Because you were top last year. I thought you were top the year before, and they caught up to you. So how is that gonna happen?
Win, luck. When you look at the stats, I mean, we won 1 Premier League, Liverpool. So no matter how close it was, doesn't matter how close it is. Unfortunately, you got to do it. You got to seal the business. You got to sort out your business. So, I mean, look, they just got to win, isn't it? That's the thing. Look, the game's done. I disagree in terms of the argument that the window was poor and that you didn't get plan A's through the window. I think when you look at where Arsenal are at the moment, they're not in a position to go and get their plan A's. And I think Arsenal are quite smart in the window, knowing that, look, regardless of what happens this season, we're going to get into the Champions League. The type of player that we're going to be able to go and get is going to be completely different because the summer window is much easier to go and negotiate with deals. So, look, I think there's a lot to be positive about. Yes, I said that, look, Arsenal would drop points. That was my prediction. So, I did see a loss. Sean Dyche can do that to anyone. He can do that to the best managers in the business. Done it at Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? We were on an unbeaten run. We went. Do you know what I mean? They came to Anfield and Burnley beat us. So they can do that. Like I said, if Arsenal win their next game, we're talking about this game as being like a learning curve. And if Arsenal are going to be in this position time and time again, they're going to come up against these types of teams where teams they're going to give them more respect now. I think if you look at how the season's gone, teams haven't really given Arsenal respect like that to that extent, where they've just sat off and said, you know what, have the ball. We know you're a threat in behind. Break us down. Break us down. A lot of teams have tried to go at them. This is a team that was proper solid and pressed in the right moments. I think, look, it's like I said, it's going to be an interesting running. I personally thought I think Arsenal still do it because of how poor City have been. But never say never. And I think, yeah, they just got to get that win over the line. Once they get that next couple wins, I think they'll be back on track. They'll just use that game as a, you know what, that was our wake up call. So
yeah. Well, before I big up everybody in the comment, I want to welcome my friend Roy, Chelsea. You look so down, man. What is going on? What's it like? What?
There's not really much to be happy about. Like, we don't play good football. Like, I'd much rather we were losing like 5-4 or some shit like that every week than draw 0-0 with Fulham, draw 0-0 with Liverpool, beat Palace 1-0. Like, I've got a little stat for the audience.
Okay.
And I know people don't say XG means much, but we have created over 2 XG, as in 2 XG should be standard for any top side. We have created over 2 XG once this season, and you will not believe the game that was. That game was when we went to Craven Cottage and we got beat. The only game we created 2 XG was when we went to Craven Cottage and got beat.
You know what, Troy? Yesterday,
That
I was
is a
doing the
frightening
watch-alongs.
statistic.
Yeah. I was doing
And
the
you know
watch-along
what?
yesterday, and it's exactly the same.
Potter, as in I've actually been very much behind Potter. However, yesterday he's run out of rope. If I don't see
already,
no, because when Potter came in, I was like, cool, okay, I'll give him time, get the squad used to his ideas, get them playing his football. They might not execute as well as Brighton did, but at least let's see his football. But it's been 15 league games, which is a pretty good sample size, and I'm not really seeing much different from when Tuchel got sacked, to be honest. And the reason I'm saying he's used all the rope was basically get your shit together before I expect you to go on a run. And now West Ham, João Felix is back. Madrid didn't have the best game. Apparently he had a heavy cold, but I expect him to start that game. Madueke had a good cameo. I expect to see him in the lineup. Kante and Kovacic are getting back to full fitness. Reece James and Chilwell getting back to full fitness. Silva and Badiashile formed a good centre-back pair. So getting into that game against West Ham, I expect to see pretty much a full-strength side, barring maybe Enzo's partner might not be the best. Because I personally don't want to see those two Brexit dogs, Mount and Gallagher, play alongside him. Because I think I'm going to be so real. They're our version of Henderson and Milner. Like, Mount and Gallagher are our version of Henderson and Milner.
Listen, I'm telling you now, I'll take them in a heartbeat.
I'm not saying that
you want to do a swap deal. Listen, I'll meet you up wherever.
Okay, swap deal. That's a bit far.
I mean, Chelsea Bridge, wherever we can make this swap there, bro.
However, when I look at Mount and Gallagher, and especially Gallagher, I see a player who's lacking so many key traits to play in central midfield is unreal. Like, his technical level is too low. He doesn't scan before he receives the ball. He struggles to pass. He can't create. He can't dribble. And I see a lot of those things in Mount, albeit not to the same extent. So then when you put them in a midfield three with Enzo, who's not really a proper six, a fantastic, fabulous player, who's not a six, it's a recipe for disaster. Like, I don't know which of you lot watched the game, but the amount of times Enzo got the ball and Mount and Gallagher were basically like attached to Havertz's hip, like playing close enough to the strikers, was unreal. That's why we struggled to progress the ball. Endo would get the ball, and the options which are meant to be there, because ideally when you're building up, like when you watch Arsenal at their best, the distances are very, very close. So the build-up is nice and sharp and fluid and quick. You see Saka get the ball, zips it into Odegaard. He can zip it into Xhaka, and then Martinelli, and then into Jesus. It's quick, sharp build-up. But when Endo gets the ball, like, his midfielders are like 10, 15 yards ahead of him.
But would you not argue that that's more of a system issue? Because
No,
if
it's a
if you look at that's what I meant. Because if you look at the way your fullbacks push up, your fullbacks push up and they create a free in the midfield. Hence why you go and see Cucurella and James or whether or Chilwell was in that game getting on the ball in those positions. I think they're high up because they're trying to go and stretch the opposition midfield and get in the half spaces in between the midfield
But
and
the thing is,
the defense.
when we're at our best, Reece and Chilwell are much better out wide. Like we saw under Tuchel, obviously, albeit different system.
Yeah,
we saw when they were playing wing backs, they were getting so many goals. They were scoring every week. They were assisting every week. They were basically the main reason we were top of the league when we were. But I still feel that those two, they're not really. I think they can be inverted fullbacks, not to a like a Zinchenko or a Cancelo or a Rico Lewis level, but they can be converted fullback. But they're much better like proper fullbacks when they're out wide.
Yeah.
So before we go to like the super chat right there from Mojis, of course, City fan is saying, been saying it for time, no one respecting Arsenal enough yet to play 10 at the back, but look what happens when they do.
It's
City
true.
are coming for them. I want to go back to Arsenal, and I want to get back to Souls, to be honest, before we move on from Arsenal. Gunnar Souls, today there was a couple of signs that I didn't like. I'm not an Arsenal fan, but I saw that a little bit of like a panic in the game when you went 1-0 down. The subs were like not on point. Trossard was really off, couple of shots, way off target, panicking. Do you think that Arteta can put it together again and get everybody firing again, especially 2 games back-to-back losses? Is not a good sign for any team. And do you trust Arteta to the point that he can get back on track right away?
100%. I mean, I think obviously All or Nothing kind of explained the roles of these of each of his coaching staff and what he's implementing within the team. Now, when we look at like a Carlos Cuesta, for example, who does a lot of the one-on-one training and kind of does the sports psychology behind the scenes and talks to the players to understand what's going on a personal level, because he is 25 as well, which is pretty much bang on the age of the squad as well. And when you look at even Mikel Arteta, like some of the talks that he gave, even what he said after the game today, just kind of reinforcing he loves the players, he wants to fight for the players and everything like that. He's not throwing them under the bus. Now, for me, I know a lot of people are going to hyper-analyze this performance and go, this is it, this is where they crumble. We've seen this before. Don't forget, this is our first loss since September in the league. Now, that's got to be applauded. Now, I understand Manchester City are this machine that go on to beating teams and can put in 10-game win streaks. Don't forget, when we were 8th, the second season we finished 8th and 5th, the signs of putting runs together was there. Now, of course, we would win like 3, maybe 4 games and then go on a 2-loss and then 3-game wins. We never put that 10-game together like we have done this season. Now, I truly do believe we've got all it takes to come back. This is just a blip, and this is something which is going to happen. Teams lose. City have had performances and results that people look at and go, oh, that's not great. Look Everton, Lampard Everton, City couldn't beat. We've at least got a new manager bounce and, all of this sort of stuff to go on and go, okay, fair enough, we lost. But City have had results where you're like, you have to question as well. Look at them last season. They couldn't score against Crystal Palace, a team that does open up and are defensively very vulnerable, and they couldn't register a goal against them home or away. So there are some stats that are going to be flattering for teams and going to be, unflattering for teams as well. I don't think that the panic button should be pressed yet. I still think the squad is good enough to go on a run. And we've I criticized the window not because we've got what we needed, but I still think the quality could have been better. Now, we've got a Jorginho who's different to Partey, but can bring in a different dynamic to control the game and just keep us ticking along and be a very closer for like the last 30 minutes, 20 minutes of a game when you're 1 or 2-0 up. Trossard, we know what quality he brings. Teams like, for example, Everton, it just didn't bang today. The impact that he was meant to have just didn't happen. We know he's got very good close control dribbling, and his finishing is way better than what we've seen today. The team as a whole was off today. It wasn't one individual, 2 individuals. It was just the whole team. Something seemed to be off about it. And if there's one man that I know can turn this around, and that's Mikel Arteta. He's shown it time and time again. He's been very resilient under a lot of pressure. Think about it. His job was on the line, and he managed to turn it around. And we've got Brentford who have been up and down this season in terms of their form and what they've shown. They've not shown
Actually,
consistent
Saul's
quality.
Brentford are actually in very good form.
At the moment, yeah, but what I'm
Yeah,
saying is
Brentford
they're a
haven't
team.
lost in
They're
a-
a team
in
that
a while in the league.
we've done all right against, and I think it is going to be one of those ones where we go and beat them, and that's where our run starts from. The unfortunate thing is we got Man City not very long after that, so it's about getting that win before the City game and just doing what we're doing. It's a blip in the park. I'm not over. I know I've overreacted, but that's a rant on the game and how I felt about the game rather than how I overall feel about what we're doing. It was just a disappointing, and the thing is, I think it's the manner we lost in, and it's Everton. They're sat 19th. How did you lose to them? This, that, and the other. But the reality is, we've seen worse happen, and teams still win the league. So look, City look vulnerable. Yes, we've shown signs of vulnerability, but guess what? There's still teams that still haven't been able to stop us. We lost against United. What happened? We didn't lose up until now. What say is that, this is the catalyst of change, and this is the catalyst, like what people are saying, we've not been shown respect. Arteta could be looking at, okay, Newcastle did this, Spurs did this. Teams are now sitting back, and guess what we have coming back? Gabriel Jesus. People keep forgetting this man is yet to come back. And guess what low block's going to hate? Gabriel Jesus, because he's going to disrupt the low block teams. So I'm more than confident. I still think, and I'll say it again, engrave that Premier League, because Man City ain't taking it.
I want to go back to Chelsea, but before we do that, we got 180 people watching, and we're not even on 100 likes, people. That's really disrespectful to this great panel with us. If you step in here, you gotta hit that like, but I'm just gonna play that sound for you again. I need 100. I need the counters now. Go on your burners. I need likes to go up now. I see the counters right here in front of me, and I need to see the likes. Roy, I know you want to keep going on Chelsea, but I just want to tell you something, my opinion, and I don't know if you agree or not. Potter is not the right man for this army. I know that he did a wonderful job at Brighton, but look at what De Zerbi is doing with the same exact players. I think Potter is good in putting system, but these are superstars. I don't think he can manage them.
I think it's a fair point, and currently I do disagree because, like I was saying earlier, when he started, the squad wasn't his. They were going to take a while to play his football. We had 10 to 12 injuries, but now he's worked with the squad for a while. He's got a good few January signings, and like I said, he doesn't have any more leeway anymore. By the time the West Ham games comes around, he's going to have pretty much close to a full strength squad. So I expect a win. I expect to see good football. I expect to see a solid defense, which we have seen in the last 3 games, because I think we've got like 3 clean sheets in a row. But more importantly, I don't want to see these basketball games in midfield anymore. I want to see control. I want to see control in midfield. I want to see the attackers getting the ball, linking up, causing chaos for the opposition defense. Because the reason we don't score that many goals is because, let's be honest, our attackers barely get the ball. And when they did get the ball, the decision making was poor in the final third, or they were struggling to take on their man, and we made life so easy for the opposition defense. But with Madueke, with João Felix back, who I think is absolutely massive for us, I think he's probably already one of our most important players. With Madueke, with Felix, with Mudryk, I think our attack should go up by a good level. So if Potter's the man, he gets us a very good win at West Ham, and he starts going on a run, because 5 Premier League wins in 15 matches, like, you've had your settling in period, you've had the time to work with the players, get them playing your style, implement your style. I know with injuries, but you can still implement your style. This is when I expect Potter to show his true colours and go on I'm not saying 12, 13 games in a row, but start consistently picking up points and start scoring some fucking goals, man. Like, I'm so tired of watching these boring, drab 0-0 draws, man. Like I said, I want wins.
No, bro, I disagree.
Now.
I disagree. Do you know, if it wasn't for that bomb, that's living off this UCL final hype, you would have been 3-0 up in the first half. That guy missed chance after chance after chance. Bro, I'm not even joking yet. A grandma can have a hip replacement and come on and score those goals. Bro, it's not. You have got to at some point. Because the thing is, I get it. I know why you're blaming Potter for a lot of the losses that you're having. But come on. You telling me Kai Havertz?
No. The players deserve just as much blame as in, like, Potter can't kick the ball into the net for them. The execution has
Exactly.
been
But they are not
shambolic.
creating
So many of these
souls.
players.
Statistics
No, but come
show
on, Havertz has
Chelsea.
3.
Let me
They
just
have
give you
3.
statistics that I collect. Yesterday, I was doing a watch along for Chelsea, and at halftime, I couldn't find anything to talk about because it was so boring. And then I started looking up stats on websites, just random ones, FootMob, live scores. Chelsea are between 13th and 15th in XG in the league. Chances created.
You know what's even worse than that, Mo? Out of the last 14 big chances we've created, we've missed, as in MISSED, we've missed 13 of them. That is horrid finishing, and it makes it 100 times worse because those 14 big chances probably came from like the last 20 games. Like, not that they came from the last 3 games where it's like, oh, it's just a brief patch of wasteful finishing. Those probably came from like the last 10, 12, 15 games. So these attackers have got to get their levels up, and I think the new signings do help that because with Ziyech and Pulisic and Havertz and Sterling, the technical floor of the attack was very low. But with João Felix, an elite technician, with Mudryk, a great technician, Madueke, another good technician, the technical floor should go up. So I'm hoping that leads to better link up, better combinations, more goals. But literally from the next game, Potter has to get these players firing and going on a run. Or if this form continues to the end of the season, then I think a 30-game sample size is more than enough, especially with the investment that Bodie's brought in. I think a 30-game sample size is enough to show that I don't think he's the man to take this team forward. And honestly, if the managerial market didn't stink the way it did right now, I would be close to wanting him out now.
Do you know what it is though, Roy? Right, the thing that I keep banging on about, the biggest problem at Chelsea has been the Roman era. Now, a lot of people are going to say, but we were successful, all of this. I hear that.
No, facts.
Your trophy. No, but my kind of point to it has been the hiring and firing was always going to catch up at some point, but you're lucky that you had someone. Yeah, and that's the problem that you have. Like, the thing is, look, I know people are going to say you're an Arsenal fan, you want the downfall of Chelsea, but obviously we're having a good conversation. I'm not trying to bring my bias out of it, but I feel for Potter because up until maybe this window when you have bought in like £300 million worth of talent, you bought in 15 players or something. Some obviously you've loaned back and whatever, but you've bought in a considerable amount of players. Forget about your spending for a second. And I do think it's going to, number one, take time, but he's also been able to identify the profiles that fit his system. But the problem that you had prior to the window was you had at least 5-6 managers worth of profiles in the team.
100%.
And you needed to get that clear out. Same with Arteta. Like, obviously, Arteta didn't have he had the luxury of not having multiple managers before him, but he had players that just didn't suit the same system, and he had to clear that out, bring his ideas in. And now I do think Potter, to a degree, has majority of it. Maybe the midfield's the only question mark right now in terms of what he wants to do with that midfield. Enzo Fernandez being his main signing and only midfield signing, if I'm not mistaken. So I do think he needs time to implement what he really wants to do. I do think getting rid of Potter personally is going to be a regret of yours.
No, I don't think we should get rid of him now. But 2 wins in like 15 matches, that form is relegation. That will get you
Arteta did similar. Arteta did similar, bro.
I know.
It was not that bad. It wasn't that bad.
I feel like we saw his style being implemented with players who couldn't do it. But with Potter, I still don't know what our style is because he changes formation so much. Like this,
I'd rather that he's trying.
Then it's a 4-2-3-1.
Exactly.
Then it's a 3-4-3. Then it's a 3-5-2. Like he needs to find one formation and stick to it.
No, but I think he's forced to do that because he doesn't understand his team yet. He doesn't understand the squad he's got given.
I just sort of hear that, but
I'm not having.
He's had enough games to have a good understanding of the squad now.
I'm not having this. Keeps adding. But anyway, one super chat I want to do here is Alhambra with a massive super chat here is saying, hello again. I said I didn't want McDonald's football from Graham Pulis. I was served with reheated Big Mac and fries. If Todd Bowley wants to take a risk, then get Marcelo Gallardo, River Plate's best manager. Listen, a lot of Chelsea fans are freaking fed up. I see it on Twitter.
Hey, listen. Guess who else got called Pulis? Mikel Arteta. Just saying. I'm just saying.
I feel like a lot of fans are fed up because impatient and always wanting to win now is ingrained into our DNA as Chelsea fans because that's what we've been used to over the last 19 years. So this whole rebuild thing, like, we're not really used to it. We haven't done it before. But that's why I'm still very much behind Potter. But he's had enough time to get used
What
to his
are the
players.
signs, Roy? At Brighton, he
That's what
put
I'm
a
saying.
good system.
Right now,
he
I
put a
haven't,
good
I
system.
haven't
Yeah.
seen signs of Potter's football. But like I said, come West Ham, he's going to have virtually a full strength squad. So I expect a good win, and I expect us to start churning out results. If this form continues to the end of the season and we end up in like 9th, 10th place, and I still emphasis and I don't see his football, if I see his football and it's failing, that's somewhat stomachable. But if I still see this mishmash, changing formation, I don't know what style we're playing, I can't describe Potter's football to anyone. If I still see that come the end of the season, which is in 18 games time, which is a very long time from now, then like I don't see how we could take this club forward.
No, but you're going back into that same cycle. You don't realize it because you're in the moment and you're like
Doesn't matter. They
emotional
want
about it.
souls.
But you're going no. But that's the thing. That's why they're in this mess, bro. You have to, at some point, the cycle has to break.
They were always in a mess. Souls, I'm sorry.
If I was
they were always in a mess.
Rival, I'd be like, do it. You sack him now. Sack him right
don't
now.
Understand. They were
Because
always
you're
in a
back in
mess. They were always in a mess. Ancelotti won the Premier League and then got sacked. And then they hired another manager and then they won the Champions League. And then they get sacked. And then they hired Mourinho and they win the Champions League. They have been the most successful club in the last 20 years doing the same thing. Investing, firing managers, getting a new managers.
Do you know why your rebuild is different? Is sort of different to ours, and why giving Arteta time was understandable, but why giving Potter time wasn't? Because from what I've seen of Potter so far, I believe he can steady the ship, but I don't think he can turn us into a winning machine. And with Arteta, I saw actually a lot earlier than a lot of Arsenal fans. I really saw an elite coach in there, and I personally think he's an elite coach. I think he's a sensational manager. The way he came in, changed the culture. Like, he's basically taken that football club at the helm, and now he's steering the ship potentially to a Premier League title. But with Potter, firstly, I don't see an elite tactician in there. I see a good tactician. Tuchel was someone who I saw as an elite tactic, as in top tier. And secondly, I don't know, like Mo was mentioning earlier, I don't know if he can handle big characters because he never had that at Brighton. And so far, he hasn't really shown that either. Arteta came in and was handling big characters straight away. We saw what he did with Ozil. We saw what he did with Aubameyang. And we saw it in all or nothing. If you step out of line, you're getting punished. As in, no negotiation. His captain came late for a meeting and he got dropped for I'm pretty sure it was dropped for the North London derby.
Yeah.
So Potter hasn't shown me that he's an elite tactician yet, or that he's shown me that he can handle big personalities, which are dressing room is full of. So if we're supposed to get that by the end of the season, then what do I have to see to shows me he can be the guy to take us forward?
Yeah. So before you go on, Souls, the super chat, it exactly echoes what Roy is saying. He's saying, I was happy losing to Man City 5-6 under Sarri because I saw a plan. Unfortunately, Roman was not patient. This is something entirely different. It's exactly what Roy is saying. They don't see the footprint. When Erik ten Hag took over Man United, you see the footprint. Jurgen Klopp, the first season Jurgen Klopp was there, they didn't win a lot. They didn't win until later, but you see the footprint. With this guy, Graham Potter, I don't see what his shot is about. What's the plan going to games? It keeps changing every game. And all the excuses are injuries. It didn't matter with Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp had shit players, but you see what he was trying to do. And Arteta was the same. But this guy, Graham Potter, he doesn't have a plan. I just feel the same. Maybe Jerry can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the thing. I see Daps in the background, who is with us. Daps, I'm just going to add you right there. You are now with us. You got a little bit. The TV's a little bit loud. Hi, Daps.
Huh? Am I loud? Am I loud?
You're all right. It's all right now. It's all right.
So I've got a party going on behind me. To be fair, I've had to tell the man them to be quiet. So, but it's a good day. It's a good day to be a City fan. Liverpool, right? Everyone wants to say we're in a crisis. Jerry, this is not you because you're a very real one, bro. But this is a good reminder, right? A crisis is not being second and in a title race. A crisis is going from a quad to what is going on there. It's mad, yeah?
So we're
It's
turning into
fucking
Liverpool
mad.
now.
I'm not
Daps, you're coming with the heat. You're turning Liverpool. So we'll talk about Liverpool. Let's shift a little bit to Liverpool.
Hold on, what were we talking on Chelsea?
Roy was like
Well, we have to be careful.
Roy
Listen, I
was
told
venting
Matisse
about
earlier.
Chelsea,
Matisse
man.
told me that Fulham got a good result today. I said, bro, they drew with a mid-table team. It's that deep, right? But we know that, look, Chelsea have bought very well age-wise, that this could be a dynasty in it. So I have to be careful with Chelsea and know that let's give them a bit of time. Their fans are fucking shameless. Their content creators are shameless. They go missing when they lose, but all of a sudden this week they've milked it. And do you know what? They've embraced spending money like my club could never do. We are shy of spending money. Them, man, are fucking shameless with it. So I've got to salute it. But Liverpool, do you know what I
Let
think?
Jerry have a say. Jerry wants to say something about
Go on,
Liverpool.
Jerry.
I don't want to say anything. I'm here by default. Like, if you guys want to talk, you can. There's nothing to say.
Do you know what? We have to be real with Liverpool, yeah? Do you know what? Do you know why I feel we have to be real with Liverpool? Because what's going on with Liverpool right now, for me, is what happens if you don't get hold of a situation too soon, right? So I've always been very clear with, like, even the season they didn't retain, that people say down to injuries. I think it's more than that. There's other things. Nothing is as simple as in the world of Twitter it looks, yeah? And I've been saying for ages, the key with Liverpool is Klopp can't let players like Salah lose interest, right? Because we've seen Salah in seasons where Liverpool haven't been good. He's still looked good, right? But it feels to me now like players like Salah have lost interest because they're like, do you know what? I tried. First 3 months of the season, I'm not going to knock Salah, right? But now it's like, do you know what? If you're going to keep playing people and I'm going to have to adapt around people that aren't at the level that I think me and this football club are, I'm going to lose interest, right?
But Daps, I'm not going to lie to you. The brother's on 350K. 350K. He's got 100K more than everyone else. I don't care where they're telling him to play. You do whatever. To listen. As a Liverpool fan, I've gone and seen Gerrard play right mid, DM, mid, right back in games, and he still goes and delivers. Yeah.
As a fan, I hear you. I hear you.
What we did as Liverpool, we went and said we sacrificed the engine and the actual team to go and give this guy the pedestal. Rightfully or wrongfully, however you want to go and describe it, yeah, he deserved that contract. But we said to you, you're the talisman now. You're the talisman now.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
So when you're the talisman, it's like, cool. Deliver us from evil. Shout out to my Christians. Deliver us from evil. This is madness.
Jerry, I salute you because you are leading the Klopp out group now, isn't you?
I don't know if I'm leading it. I don't know if I'm leading it.
No,
but
I salute you, bro.
But
you know what, Jerry, can I just hit you with another angle? Because for me, Klopp deserves criticism, massive criticism. Huge criticism, but for me, this is what happens when you give a monster too much power, right? Someone, if it be the new owners, needs to come in and go, Klopp, your role is manager, tacticianist, coach, right? When you signed that new contract and you thought you can start saying these players won't be here, but I still will be, right? For me, what seems to happen at Liverpool now is there's no control. The owners are the owners. They're probably living in fat yards, not watching games. There's no gatekeeper watching what's going on. Like, do you think if Pep was to turn around and say, for example, Cancelo, I've got a problem with him, he needs to go. There is not a chance in hell that the board are just going to go, okay, on your words, we agree with you. The board are going to ask other people at the club. They're going to see what they've seen. They're going to go, you know what, you're right. Whereas I think at the moment, the board are literally, whatever Klopp says goes. And I'm going to be real. You should keep Klopp. Klopp should not go. But Klopp got given money of some sort in December, January, and he decided where to spend it. And in my opinion, he decided, not FSG, to spend it on another forward and not on a DM. That's on him, not FSG. They spent money. He spent it wrongly.
But do you know what's mad? I agree with what you're saying. But the thing is, right, when you look at these players, you see like City's drop off now is you're second in the league, you're in a title race, and
it's hard, bro. It's hard.
It's a drop off. It's a drop off, right? If Liverpool's drop-off was we're fourth and we're not in the title race, but we're going to get top four and we're challenging for third, right? We're challenging for third. We're there. We're in there with Newcastle and stuff. I'd still be annoyed, but I'd be like, okay, cool. There's a drop-off. Mane's gone. We brought in Nunes. We got to do all of that. 10th. That's.
Are you 10th now officially?
Yeah, whatever it is. I haven't even looked at the table. We might even be 11th.
Are you in the top half still? Just to be.
I don't know. I haven't looked at it.
They're 10th. They're in 10th. They're in 10th.
We're 10th. But look, you look at it and you spoke about.
Oh, what it's like to be City. Oh, what it's like to be small.
I swear to God, you're lucky. You're lucky that Aston Villa lost today to Leicester.
Daps, you went and said there's three pillars that Klopp should be in charge of, right? You said management, coaching, and being a tactician. Two of those he can't do. He's proven he can't coach because we do the same thing over and over again. Yeah, and he's proving that he ain't got any tactics in his belt, and he's not a tactician because all it is just man motivation, like Anthony Robbins just telling you we can do better and stuff. And when you're looking at the games, you're looking at, all right, cool, you ain't really got the personnel to play the way you want to go and play. Cool, go to a back five, drop the line a bit deeper, play this player instead, play five in midfield, and play one up top. Defensively resolute because we're conceding chances every single game, and we concede first more or less every game. He's not changing jack. And then he's looking around and looks like he's popped Molly in his mouth every game, looking surprised at the fact that, do you know what I mean? Like, we've conceded. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And what's the reason why I'm so harsh on Klopp as well is because as a fan base, everyone's at fault bar Klopp.
Yeah, I agree with you, bro.
FSG, the fans. Listen, now it's Andreas Koolman. Now it's the doctor. It's everyone else, but Klopp's the one that's oblivious.
Yes,
you know what it
Daps,
is?
Daps, wait. Absolutely, he is absolutely spot on. Today I was doing the watch along, and like we have some Liverpool fans on with our channel, and then they kept saying FSG out, and I'm like, okay, but the whole squad is not playing well. It's on Klopp, and they're like, no. FSG out, they're the problem. Like, no, but your whole team is not performing. It's not Salah, it's not Nunes, it's not Gakpo, it's the whole thing. Matip looked like really.
FSG is the problem. FSG would be the problem if I was looking and Klopp was kind of, and I actually believe he's doing the best he can with these players, but you just can't do anything else. So that Daps at Burnley, right? Daps at Burnley was doing as best as he could.
Yeah,
it was that cool. He's not getting the investment. You can criticize the investment. Newcastle, when Benitez
he got money, he spent it wrongly.
You saw what Benitez done in the season they got up. He needed the investment. They didn't give it to him. You can go and be like, cool, they're not investing. As Daps said, we had 100, regardless how we got the money, we spent near enough 100 million on Gakpo and Nunes. But in the summer, before we got Nunes, we were in for Chouameni, ended up getting a forward. And then in the summer, you told us we don't need a midfielder because we have Morton. Morton then went on loan to Blackburn. You spoke about Keita, Naby, Ox, and all of these type of brothers. They all look like they're getting shipped out. And then you ended up in the January signing Gakpo because he's the missing link according to your number 2. It don't make any sense.
Do you know why it doesn't make sense though, Jerry, as well? Because I'll be real. In the summer, when all Liverpool fans were screaming, after nearly doing the quad, we're screaming, we need midfielders. I'm like, calm down, or we're going to have a bad season. I'm going, you lot are being reactionary, yeah? Even 3-4 weeks in the season, you're being reactionary. But Liverpool fans are seeing it. And I'll be very clear. I will never question another rival fan on their club because it pisses me off when people question me talking on my club. I watch every game. You don't, yeah? So I can talk openly about the issues at my club. If someone's talking about issues at their club, they're not doing it because they want to. They're doing it because they see it. Yeah. So all Liverpool fans have seen it. That was in the summer. By January, it's fucking clear to the whole world. And I'm saying Amrabat, and everyone's like, oh, he won't answer all the questions. I'm like,
it doesn't matter at this point. But it's my point.
All the questions, answer fucking some.
Listen, I don't care if Liverpool went. I don't care about the name. I kid you not. You see, Roy, you were talking about Mount and Gallagher. If Liverpool had gone and got Gallagher, I'd have been like, finally. They're trying to do something. You're hungry, innit? You're starving. You gone to a local. You wanted to go Novikov. You didn't have the funds for that. You didn't have the time for that. But you know what? You stepped into your Morleys and you picked up your. You know what I mean? Your 6 pieces of chicken and you got a little banquet box and you're cool. You've done something to
2 wings and
target something. When we had the injury crisis, yeah, we reacted mad late. But I was like, cool. We got Kabak and Davies. Yeah, it ended up being dead, but at least you can go and see.
Yeah, real talk. It got you over the line, bro. It did what it had to.
they're trying to do something. To go and sit there and tell us at the end of the window, no, the squad's all good. The squad's all good. Klopp, and then act all frustrated at reporters when they're questioning you about the mentality in the club. It's shocking. It's shocking.
Can I just chime in on this whole Klopp discussion? Because I personally don't think Liverpool should sack Klopp. I think Klopp is.
Oh, they 100% should.
I think he's a world-class coach, elite, top-tier manager.
Coach or manager?
Huh?
Coach or manager?
Both. I think Klopp's an elite coach, and I think he's an elite manager.
But he don't coach the team. It's Linders.
No, as in, okay. Obviously, right now things aren't really fine.
Yeah, since Linders has come in, if you watch it, Klopp don't coach the team. It's Linders.
I know, and that's what I'm saying about Klopp. I think as an individual, he is so fantastic. Like, I rate him so highly, but I do think he's someone who needs the right team around him. You can't give him ultimate power because he does have qualities which can be detrimental to how the football club operate, like not wanting midfielders, being sentimental to players who aren't really at the level of Liverpool Football Club and where they want to go. And I feel like if you gave, like, and this all sort of goes back to Edwards, because Edwards was the genius behind the scenes, and he was a huge part of why Liverpool was so successful. Yeah, you can say one Premier League title, but when you're getting 95 points every season and you win every single trophy on offer,
not every season, they did it like twice or something, bro.
Okay, when you're getting 90 plus points,
sorry,
every
Jerry,
season,
but
when you get
twice, but we got like 93 a couple times.
Yeah, when you're getting like 90 plus points consistently, and you win every single trophy on offer, that's a very successful period. Edwards was a huge part of that. And I think people forget that Klopp wanted Brandt and Goetze, but he got Mane and Salah.
And he didn't want Salah, and he didn't want him.
Yeah, he didn't want Salah, and he didn't want Mane. And that sort of suggests that whilst he's an excellent manager, his talent ID isn't quite there. He didn't have elite talent ID like someone like.
Before we do that,
sorry,
we go,
Roy is the brethren. Roy is the brethren we all want. Yeah, like I always said with Wenger, the loyalty of Wenger towards his board, I salute. The fact he took it himself when it was deep down the board. That's Klopp. He's being loyal and he's loyal to players. I will be honest. I think he won't drop Henderson because he knows Henderson has that dressing room, and I think if he drops Henderson, the whole dressing room goes. So he's sticking with certain man because he knows the power.
No, Daps, I actually disagree. I think if the let's say they just bought Matheus Nunes in January, Henderson's not starting because Fabinho's going to be the 6th.
Bro, you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm not talking football ability. Listen, the one thing I had to admit in the summer, in the World Cup, is it was very clear. Henderson is a leader, bro. Like young,
he's Klopp's right. He's Klopp's general. He's Klopp's right-hand man.
Yeah, and Klopp knows if he loses Henderson,
that's the huge problem with Klopp that I have. And the thing is, yes, we can call him world class, whatever. The verdict for me is still out because I think if you're going to be a world class manager, you've got to learn to rebuild your squad. You've got to remotivate them, keep them going. That's world class for me. Look, my standards are ridiculous for players and managers. For me, a manager should have talent ID. And but I rate who I rate in it. If you ask me, you'll be shocked by who I say. But like for me, a manager should have talent ID. That's part of being a manager. Even if you look at it became clear to me as a fan when I seen Arteta get promoted from coach to manager, and you see the increased responsibility was talent ID, identifying targets, having that discussion with the board, who you want to bring in, what positions you want to talk about. Now, the reason why I'm questioning Klopp, he's done brilliantly in the game of football. I'm not questioning him as a manager or anything like that. He's got the accolades to back it up. He's done better than most managers will ever do. But the question is, when it comes to this, and history keeps repeating itself, and at some point, you've got to break that history. You've done it at Dortmund, you've done it at Mainz, and it happened again at Liverpool. And it's like every time the question comes to you, you're not answering the right questions. Yeah. It's clear as day you needed a midfielder and you bought 2 attackers. Why? And then at that point, this is why I say I think Klopp needs to go. Because for me, he doesn't have the kahunas to go there and go, Jordan Henderson, look, you've been a great... And this is where managers, right, true world-class managers, like your Peps, your Fergies, the reason why they've excelled in the football, Arteta's got to show it yet. He's still got to show it because we don't know. If he wins the league and, he does, then we'll see. But he needs to go to the squad and go, look, Jordan Henderson been a great servant for the club, blah, 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 blah. We know he's a leader, but look, we need to move on. That's what a great manager does. He keeps the team cohesive, but moves it on when needed. But the problem is, like what a lot of people are saying is, oh, he's a leader in the dressing room. He doesn't want to lose that. To me, that's a bad manager, because if you wanted to progress and Jordan Henderson's the reason you're not progressing and not being able to bring a midfielder in, etc., then you need to have the coolness to have that conversation with your team and go, look, if we want to keep being champions, this is how we're going to do it. Football changes, it evolves, and this is how we're moving forward. If you can get that plan across to the players, guess what they're going to do? They're not going to give a fuck you sold Henderson. If they're going to win a Champions League, if they're going to go win a Premier League, they're not going to care. That's where I question Klopp.
But this is the problem.
For me, though,
the problem, right, is that the first thing that people want to do, and a lot of people, is that they start questioning the board. So like, the board hasn't spent enough money. If we could go and spend this money, regardless on how we got the money, when we went and sold Coutinho, we reinvested those funds, right? Now, Klopp, FSG, whoever's involved in that deal, Michael Edwards didn't want to go and do it, hence why he left. We've given Salah a new deal, right? Let's speak about the elephant in the room. We gave Salah a new deal based on what he had done previously, but in hope that he can maintain that, because you don't give a new contract to someone knowing that he's going to fall off. You know what I mean, in the next 2-3 years, you don't do that unless it's a 6-month extension. So because you want to protect your asset, instead of doing what we've done before and knowing that that's the model we work in, forget about whether you agree with the model or not. That's the model that's in place, right? You've decided, scrap that. We're not going to go and do that, and we're not going to try and reinvest into the areas that we need to do. We're just going to go and give all these brothers contracts because they deserve it, and we're so loyal and this, that. And now we're stuck in a situation now where what assets have Liverpool got to go and sell?
Nothing.
Jude Bellingham's dad.
Yes.
Okay. Before I want to get out of this club, I want to ask you something, Jerry. But before that, guys, we have 250 people who are not even on 150. Like, that's embarrassing, people. That's
Hold on, but to be fair, it's also very respectful as well. But we want more.
Yeah.
It's not embarrassing. Do you know what? That ratio is pretty fucking good, right?
Is it?
Well, no, it's not.
No,
get it up.
I
Get
respect
it up.
your hustle,
Yeah,
bro.
come on, I want the counters.
Right.
I want the counters. I want the counters on the side right here, people. Come on, give me some likes. I wanna give Dan a little bit.
I salute everyone that smashed that like button. 150 out of 250.
I'm waiting for the other
good
ones.
ratio, but we want better. We want better.
Yes.
Listen,
Waiting.
we've got 100 points. I want 101, right?
So I want to give Dan a little bit. Yeah, come on, just wait. Come on,
real quick. Real quick, I want to comment on the Henderson situation.
I'll let you speak before I ask Gunnar Souls, because quickly, I didn't talk in the Arsenal group chat today, but that was very respectful, because you fuckers, when we drop points, talk.
We'll come back to Arsenal. I'll let Danny speak a little bit about Liverpool, and I also want to hear his thoughts about, is he going to do a favor tomorrow to City, or he's going to just wanna win and don't care about Arsenal and all this stuff. Danny, what are your thoughts, my mate?
When it comes to Henderson, I get he's a leader, but if there's serious thoughts over if he's gonna be dropped, he's gonna go and have an outrage, then is he really a leader? Does he really have to be in the starting 11 to be a leader and to be an inspiration for the young players on the team? For me, I think if that's the case, then bin him. Sell him, because he's not really a leader. But for me, what leaders would have to do is bench him, right? And then he'll be in the dressing room still being a leader. But you also have another player coming in for him that's better than him. That's for me what leaders would do.
Fernandinho is the best example for this. Fernandinho is the best example for this, for City. Absolutely best example.
Mo, do you know what? And I'll be honest with you, right now is a perfect time to speak on how important he was. Because last season, Rodri was our starting DM, right? But our captain was Fernandinho, right? And when you look at what's happened with Cancelo, that wouldn't have happened with Fernandinho there. And I'm even going to deep it a bit more, because obviously as a City fan, I do deep things a bit more. And I'll be honest, I think Gundogan De Bruyne's form has dropped because as captain and deputy, they're trying to handle a situation where they've got friends warring, right? And they don't know how to deal with the pressure. So their form, in my opinion, might be that as two very, very, very good players, as leaders in the dressing room, they're not leaders. and they're having to deal with situations, and Foden and Ruben Diaz are dealing with situations that Gundogan and De Bruyne should be. So this is spot on. I think Henderson, but I don't want to use it on Henderson because I do think Henderson's a leader. But at City, we miss Fernandinho. We can talk on Zinchenko, talk on Jesus, talk on Sterling. We miss Fernandinho more than anything. A crucial captain is fucking massive. So
reminds me of the company situation.
Yeah, spot on again. We had and at the moment, for me, my whole thing is Ruben Diaz should be our captain now, because for me, just because De Bruyne and Gundogan are amazing footballers, that does not make you an amazing captain, right? And we brought in Ruben Diaz to be that guy, and at the moment, Pep's going with seniors. But if we don't have a senior that has the ability to lead a team, no problem. Let them be footballers and bring someone that has the passion. Ruben Diaz for me.
By the way, the people that say Liverpool's midfield are old, I see you in the comments. No, they're not. Fabinho is 29. Jordan Henderson is 32. Thiago is 30. They're not old. Some midfielders, their prime is at 30 years old. And I disagree with anybody that says that Liverpool needed an overhaul in the midfield.
Style of play. That's
agreed. Legs.
But hold on. Fernandinho played until he was 33 and running.
But Mo, but the reason why, and I say this, is that when you compare Liverpool, and it's evident, right? It's in the stats. When you compare Liverpool's style of play to City's, right? City's is more conducive to winning the league. The reason why is, if you look at the reason why Real Madrid were able to go and have a midfield that stuck around for so long, were playing into their 30s, into their almost some of them late 40s, right? Is because the style of play wasn't reliant on pace, power, running, etc. Because those things you can't control, those things diminish. Your ability to run, when you're looking at margins, right? Your ability to get to the ball first, your ability to win the second challenges all the time, that diminishes over time. Do you know what don't diminish? Your ability with a football.
So Klopp is at fault because he couldn't adapt.
Yeah, that's my point. But that's what I'm saying. That Klopp's at fault.
But the thing about being old is different. It's Jerry, like the oldest narrative about they're old. Maybe your coach couldn't adapt with them because they are still in international players.
That's my belief. But I believe though that if you were to go and, for example, like a Pep or whoever that goes and plays that style of play, wouldn't look at our midfield and be like, yeah, I'm liking that midfield. Those midfielders are suited to one particular style of play, which is that pace and power, which is fair. But if you do that, you've got to be ruthless. As soon as they hit 28, you're like, at the door anyway, we need to get the new brother in. You don't go and try to carry this on. And then when it's going bad, you then decide, you know what, we're going to become a bit more ball playing and we're going to get rid of our most important midfielder because he was actually injured in Wijnaldum. And we're not going to replace him, but we're going to bring in Thiago, and Thiago's going to become our most important midfielder. But we're going to make him do the Wijnaldum role. Because now he's just become our best tackler. But no penetrative passes, no really pass to assists. You don't get goals, you don't get assists. So what is he doing? He's just running around. He's running around like a headless chicken. Now, talk to me. Someone tell me. How does that work?
I will let somebody else answer.
I think with Liverpool's midfield, I know everyone's saying Bellingham.
Dead. Scrap.
Like, there's still a tactical issue. There's still a tactical issue with the midfield. It's not as if you slot Bellingham in, get everyone back fully fit, and Liverpool winning 12, 13, 15 matches in a row again. Like, tactically, Liverpool's football has become stale and it's become very easy to play against. So, if Klopp doesn't, number one, get a fucking midfielder in. Number two, change tactically. Like, this football has been found out. If he doesn't do those two things,
But it goes back to my point now, though. If he can't change tactically, which he's proving that he can't, right?
Bye-bye. He has to go.
No, exactly. But you just told me that he's an amazing. We shouldn't get rid of him, and he's an amazing manager. You just spoke to me about Potter.
No, because I personally believe
about Potter.
Why I don't want Klopp at
Potter because he's changing and chopping and changing tactics.
The thing is,
clearly don't have his tactic right.
No.
Into plan A.
It's different because number one, Klopp's got a lot of credit in the bank.
But credit in the bank doesn't make sense if you're not. We're in the results business. We're not in
I understand.
Roy, at Chelsea fan talking about credit in the bank, it's kind of strange a little bit.
Klopp was 2 games from winning a quadruple last season.
No, we didn't.
Hear me out. Hear me out. Klopp has credit in the bank. He's won every trophy on offer. He was 2 games away. It's in 1 extra win last season and 2 goals in the Champions League final. You're sitting on a quadruple and you're the best Premier League side ever.
Yeah, but,
However,
No, it wasn't. Behave.
Wait.
No. Wait, 1 second. Let me land.
Cool.
No, with those takes, you can't. Best
No.
Premier League side of all time.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
I know you get a bit defensive because I know you're a hardcore City fan and that.
Bro, no, it's
Hear
not
me out.
defensive. Best. I'm just shocked that you're still in a house, bro. Shouldn't you be living in like the Bahamas or something now with all your money?
Go ahead, Roy. Go ahead, finish. Roy.
As in with Klopp, yes, things aren't looking good at the moment, but I still believe he's got a lot of credit in the bank from what he's done for the club, and until like I said, I'll give him this season. If he proves that he's not able to, once everyone's back fit, he's not able to change tactically and get this team of mostly very, very good players. A lot of these players are some of the best in the world in their positions.
Yep.
If Klopp, come the end of the season, has shown that he can't tactically adapt and get these players firing, it's just the same 4-3-3 crap, Henderson hoofing, Robertson running around like a headless chicken, like the attackers not linking up together, all this stuff, then the Klopp out shouts will be valid. He's had a poor half season.
But it's not been a half season. Think about it. If we're going back to it and you're talking about these players, you just said the players are probably the best in their position, right?
I said some of them,
right?
This is still a good team.
Yeah, cool, but some of them. If you go back 2 seasons ago, there was an argument that every player in that position was in their best, right? I would argue that last season was a rinse and repeat. It was do the same thing you've been doing this whole time. And it's the players that delivered. Because when you think about tactically in games, Klopp's never done anything crazy and said, like a Mourinho, and said, you know what? I'm going to go and put Kurt Zouma in midfield because it's going to disrupt their defense. Or you know what? Pep, you know what? We're going to go mad direct against City, and Liverpool, because what we're going to do, we've seen Milner's playing, we're just going to go proper direct. We like to pass through the channels, but we're going to go direct. Klopp is the same thing. And yes, it's changed over time because teams play different against us, but that's not being proactive. That's being reactive. When have you ever gone and said, you know what? That's crazy, That game was going so bad that Klopp went into a back three, pushed someone up, we played 2 up top, and then we just completely changed the way we did it. Look at Chelsea with Conte. Conte was struggling, playing 4-3-3, 4-4, all this type of stuff. What did he do? Go to a back 5, you guys won the league. When has Klopp ever done that? And then you talk to me about credit in the bank. When the results business, in any walk of life, if I was a manager of flipping Nike and we had broken record sales last year, yeah, I'm getting all the praise. If the next year the sales have plummeted 50%, I'm sacked. Why is it that he gets credit in the bank? Look,
coming from a Chelsea fan.
When City had an off season, does that mean Pep should have been sacked? Because he had credit in the bank as well.
At where?
We came second, bro, not 10.
1920. Well, no, hold on. 1920.
When second, not 10.
When City were doing very poorly, would you have wanted Pep out?
Hold on, bro. Let me be clear on this. Hold on. We came second.
Chill out.
No, Roy, hold on. You have to beat context. We came second and reached the Champions League final.
You didn't get to the Champions League final in 1920.
In 2020, we did, bro.
No, in 2020, it was Bayern PSG in the final.
No, 2020 was City and Liverpool. It was wasn't it?
He's talking about the league.
Chelsea and Liverpool, wasn't it? Chelsea and City, wasn't it?
No,
that was 2021.
That's
1920.
Sorry, my bad. We came second though, not 10.
Yeah, obviously you came second, but at the end of the day, you're standing.
Liverpool situation.
Okay, let me tell you, Jerry. I want to tell you the difference.
This is what I'm. But 1 second. But this is the landing. But this is what I'm trying to say. I'm telling you now as a Liverpool fan, if we were 4th, right, some people would still be in turmoil. But I'd be like, you know what? Nunes is playing. We're building something. It's a transition period. You can't talk to me about a near quad and then end 10th because at the end of the day, it was a near quad. It didn't happen. In 20 years' time, when you look at it, Liverpool have won 1 league. That's the same as Leicester, bro. It doesn't matter how you done it. It doesn't matter. We could have got 1 million points. It's still 1 league. So when you look back in time, and you go and when you look at what Arsenal did. Yeah, Wenger got them into the top 4 bare times. What did he do though? Nothing.
Oh, shade. Good.
That's true. Sar's not gonna lie. He didn't do anything. The reason why Ferguson is that GOAT, yeah, and you have to admit it. And yes, I hate Man United. I do. But listen, when you look at it, Look at what he's done. He's won consistently. When you look at it, it's like, oh, you know what? They dominated that period. When you look at City now, they dominate. It's a blue moon. We're talking about Liverpool and City being rivals. On paper, it don't look like rivals. It looks like there was one blip, one COVID blip. That's what it looks like. And you haven't done anything to rectify that as a club. How can we keep talking about credit in the bank? What? So because Henderson's got credit in the bank, he should stay at the club. He's got credit in the bank. He's done better more than Gerrard's done in terms of winning. Salah, he's got credit in the bank. He might as well stay there forever because he's broken our records and stuff. Mane had credit in the bank. Don't get rid of him. I can't comprehend that thought process. Because when you look at Chelsea, look at what you guys have run. But it's because you're being ruthless. If Klopp was the manager of Barca, would he be sacked by now? Yes. If he was the manager of City, would he be sacked? Yes. If he was the manager of Chelsea, would he have been sacked? Yes. Even Arsenal, if he was the manager of Arsenal, would he have been sacked? Yes.
I presume you spoke on Arsenal today, by the way.
We did. But I want to move from Liverpool because we have talked about Liverpool. That's one
Jerry,
angry Liverpool fan.
Get your heart rate down.
No, do you know what?
But I love it. Listen, Jerry. Wait. Listen, Jerry. You have been very logical in your talk. You're not like just presenting ideas out of the blue. You have fair points. You're like talking logic. You're not like the guy just try to just say ideas without any logic behind them. You have reasoning behind your opinions and you explain them really, really well. And the problem is your fan base. Some of them are really young and they didn't know what the club was in shambles. Just because you reached a Champions League final and you won one, but you were not doing anything in the league.
So just to land one more, just to put the context right. If Klopp didn't win the Premier League for whatever reason, right, we'd be sitting here and saying Klopp's done the same as Benitez.
Yeah,
he's done the same as everyone else.
Same as Di Matteo, fam.
But that's my point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but that's my point. The league is what skews everything because forget what you did. I understand that it's ridiculous to go and get the consistency of the team was ridiculous. But at the end of the day, it's a results business, and you didn't do it. It doesn't matter if I race Usain Bolt and I break the second record, right? If he's doing it quicker than me, I'm still second.
Yeah,
it doesn't make a difference.
100%.
So
I was just going to say,
but
on Jerry, you're spot on what you just said about Jerry. And people, you need to go and subscribe to this man's channel, please. Yeah, because I salute him because it's a difficult thing as a Liverpool fan to come out and call out Klopp. Trust me, yeah. But he's not just doing it like some channels. He's doing it with context, yeah. Like he's not doing it for clicks or nothing. Trust me, I know Jerry. He don't need to do none of this. He loves the club and he's talking facts about Liverpool. So please, Liverpool fans, whether you're fucking Klopp in, Klopp out, go and subscribe to this man's channel because this man's football brain is tuned in. So please subscribe to him. Guna, what happened today? Please.
He just
do you want my rant? Yeah, do you want my rant again?
No, I don't. I just listen. The blueprint's there. People, the blueprint for Arsenal is now official. You can buy it online from Amazon. Anyone fighting relegation, go and grab that fucker and do what you've done to my team for the past 4 or 5 years. If you're facing relegation, this is the blueprint you need. Play shit football. Be shameless. Do whatever.
Play shit football, though.
Wait a minute. Daps, I've got a question you there.
Go on, Dan. Go on, Dan.
You've said shit football. For me, I don't think there's any wrong way to play football. I said this earlier before you came on. I don't think there's any wrong way to play football. If you win, you win. Maybe it's your opinion, it's your preference is you like to see attacking football. Maybe that's your preference. Maybe for other people, they enjoy seeing defensive football more. But to say it's shit football, to say it's anti-football, I've never
understood. It's a Tottenham fan. You don't care as long as it's got results. I get it.
He has to say that.
No, bro, but the thing
is, but either way, I agree
with Dan. I'm joking. I am joking. I agree. That was rude of me. I should have said effective.
What else do you want him to come in and say?
I ain't gonna lie. Everton played exciting football today. I'm not even.
That's the other thing. That's the other thing I wanted to say. Sean Dyche ball, man.
It might not have
they
been
created chances.
When they had the ball,
man got ball out now. Come on.
That's why this is why I say Arsenal. They dominate the ball, but if you're not going to create chances with the ball that you have, then what's the point of dominating it? You need to create chances with the possession that you have. Yeah, Burnley not Burnley. Everton created more chances than Arsenal today. That's why they won.
I have a question for you, bro. if let's say you drop points again at Brentford, obviously City's a game after that. Do you think that the players could be in a bit of a mentally fragile state after that?
I
And let's say
personally
City
don't.
beat Spurs, so the gap would be what, 2 points?
I actually don't. I think, well, there's a lot of components within the backroom staff that's going to sort this out. It's a blip for me. I don't think. The problem is, right, because people are waiting for this to happen, this crumble to happen, this
Yeah, we
fall
all
to
are,
happen.
don't worry.
Including your players, by the way. That's why they acted like they did today.
Fair enough. But you know what it is? We've got some of the best sports psychologists behind the scenes, in my opinion.
Reportedly.
So
In my opinion, like I said,
Stop
in my
talking.
opinion,
Stop talking,
right?
Daps.
In
Bro,
terms of
it's just these lot are convincing themselves. Yeah,
Wait a
that's
minute.
what they're doing.
listen,
right
Daps,
Wait a minute, I've got
listen.
one question.
Look,
I've got one
I'll
question,
give you.
Phil.
I'll give it you now. Clip this. Engrave that Premier League with the Arsenal. I'm telling you now, it's
Oh
going to
my
happen. That parade is happening in North London.
Soz,
Be
Soz,
there
I've got a
or
question
miss
for you,
out.
Soz.
But
You deserve
what
it
I'm
as
gonna
well.
say,
Best
I just
football
want to
this
counter
season so
Daps'
far.
point quickly, or Roy's point, or question. Right, in my opinion, when you look at Mikel Arteta and when you look at Carlos Cuesta, they're two key components who sit down with these players and really understand their performances. They sit down, analyze every single movement they did in that pitch, and they're gonna sort it out. Now, the thing is, look, I've got no excuses for today. Today was simply disgraceful from each and every one of them. That was the least Champions-like performance I have ever got to witness in my life. Because you wouldn't, if City did it, we'd be on to them. If any other team did it, we'd be on to them. Now, Thomas Partey has had a very, very good season, but today was off it. Martin Odegaard, again, a shambolic performance. Jacques, a shambolic. Martinelli should be playing as a striker, not as a winger. Eddie Nketiah, he is what he is. You know, Bukayo Saka, another poor performance, in my opinion. I know a lot of people are going to say he was one of our better stuff, but no, I didn't see enough today. You know, Ben White, I don't know what's happened to him. Even against United, I don't know what's happening to him right now. Saliba and Gabriel were actually pretty good, and they were decent. Ramsdale pulled off some good saves, but overall, bad performance. Guess what's going to happen? They're going to get what they've got coming to them in terms of the back room. Mikel's going to be on to them. He's going to speak to them. Carlos Quest is going to be on to them one-on-one coaching, and he's going to sit there and explain to them what's going on. You know, why is your performance is dipping? We're going to have solutions, and guess what's going to happen, man? I think we're going to surprise a lot of people when we play Man City.
Dan, what did you want to ask? Dan wanted to have something to say.
Dan, you're going to do us a favour.
Let me tell you something for the Arsenal fans watching, expecting Tottenham to do something for them. Don't keep
I
your
don't want
hopes
them
up,
to do
right?
anything. Fuck off.
No, not you. I'm saying the other ones. I'm saying the other ones that are saying, "Oh, please, Tottenham, please do not keep your hopes up." All right, you've already tried it last time we played City. Don't think that we're gonna win for you again. But for me, Souls, you're saying you have the best sports psychologist, and you saw this in the All or Nothing. The All or Nothing was right last season.
Well, actually, no. But even if you look at Carlos Cuesta's CV, he's been at some of the biggest clubs in the world in their most dominant period.
All right, but listen to my question. Why, if you have the best sports psychologist, when you lost to Tottenham, did you crumble against Newcastle?
Because the quality of the team wasn't there. Not because we didn't have the mentality to get it over the line. We just didn't have our players there.
That was a mentality. Come on. You know it was a mentality because the fans
were
getting
tired of you now, apart from Gabriel Jesus.
Sorry, can I just say one thing?
Thomas Partey wasn't there either.
Guys, we're gonna go.
You had the
we
quality to beat
have
Newcastle.
2 minutes. I got 2 minutes left. We've been going for an hour, 15 minutes. Seriously,
I didn't realize
I have a
I've done
football
late.
game.
Sorry.
I have a
Sorry,
football game to go
can I
to,
just
and
say,
people have to go.
Mo, let me just say one thing. Yeah, this is the thing, right? That I've been trying to use the whole mentality thing since we beat Arsenal, and how that was very important to our mentality. But Arsenal fans played it down. No. It was our B team. You can't talk about players coming on and looking better. Blah, 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 blah. No problem. But now Arsenal fans still want to claim. But cool. It was. Same. One was one game, 100%. But here's the thing. Tomorrow we'll decide everything. Not to do with Arsenal, because I've been consistent with it. Whether City win the league or not is not down to Arsenal. The best Arsenal still lose the league to the best Manchester City. Now, here's the key. Can we be the best Manchester City? Right. The best Manchester City, when our rivals drop points on a Saturday, it doesn't matter if we're playing Southampton at home or fucking God and his 100 disciples on Sunday. We win, right? So tomorrow, Arsenal drop points today. Tomorrow, if we rock up to a ground that we have not scored at, have not won at, and manage to win, that is the Manchester City that all of us, including me, have spoke on. This is a time where we show, are we the same City that have the mentality to win leagues by any fucking means? If we do, we go and beat Tottenham tomorrow. If we don't, no problem. Arsenal, over to you.
That's the last thing. That's the last thing we're going to say. We're going to leave. The league is being decided tomorrow. Top 4 is being decided tomorrow.
I agree with it. No, I believe
This
it.
is it. This is it. But anybody, thank you, everybody. 270 people here still. Get us to 200 likes if you can, just before we end the show. Thanks so much for the panel. Of course,
Thanks,
all the
everyone.
socials are here. Gunnar Souls, of course, all his socials are there. Follow him on Twitter, his channel. Danny as well, the young and upcoming Spurs content creator. Thank you so much for joining us, Danny. Absolutely brilliant. And Jerry, the honest Liverpool fan. Some angry man out there. And
Roy, the rich Chelsea fan.
Roy, absolutely brilliant having you on. And we'll see you in Grand Potter. Get sacked next week or something when you lose the next game. Of course, because you play
We're
away.
beating West Ham, man.
You will do to West Ham. I promise you will lose to West Ham. I
Nah,
feel it
we'll
coming.
beat
I
West
see
Ham,
it
man.
coming, man. I see it coming. But anyway, thank you everybody that tuned in. We really appreciate you. And make sure tomorrow at 12 o'clock, before the game's rivals, not viral, the shameless lot. And you're going to enjoy that all the time, of course. Thank you everybody that tuned in. We really appreciate you. We love you here from Never a Foul. And hopefully we'll see you guys soon. Salute.